I have to look at my cheat notes. I'm still ADHD, even though I'm 50 years old. Anyhow, yes, I do run TEDxModa. I'm not going to tell you about what TEDxModa is because there's so much information out there online. You may know or not know about it. TEDxModa is an endeavor where the purchase of bathing suits is a sign of our progress, where we try to run a supportive environment for women who are brave enough to walk through our door for the first time and earn their own money for the first time in their lives, where we have shut down our workshop for a day several years after the initial bathing suit purchases because our ladies kept talking about how great it would be to take a boat tour, until I finally said they would only do so if I shut the workshop down for a day and we all went together, to which they said, "That's a great idea." I set up this endeavor with a fair amount of hands-on experience in civil society. I've been volunteering since high school. I had the good karma to be the founder of the first curricular program for civic participation at the university level here in Turkey. I was an activist, someone who asked politicians for accountability even before I could vote. I knew I had a lot to learn and that there would be challenges I'd never thought of, but I thought I had a pretty good basis from which to go forward. I was pleased when I came up with the idea for this new business, one that would combine providing opportunities for women with targeting poverty, while at the same time raising environmental awareness. I'd spent a lot of time trying to create the concept that is now TEDxModa, the garbage ladies. And for those of you who don't know Turkish, I'm really sorry. It just works so well in Turkish. We just dealt with the translation of the garbage ladies. I knew who I wanted to target, where I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to set up a new model for development empowerment projects. I tried to start by being as culturally sensitive as I could, especially since I was starting this business at the intersection of a corner where every other business was run by men, and we were about to threaten to wreck the status quo. I tried to encourage and support our ladies who have never worked for salary before, while at the same time keeping the expectations bar high enough to ensure quality goods. This is one of our items, my dress. At the same time, allowing for mistakes from, of course, which we all learn. I really thought I was tuned into our ladies when at the end of the first year they would say to themselves, but really for me to hear, "Wow, we've been doing this for almost a year. Oh my God, can you believe I've been doing this for almost 12 months? Wow, who would have thought we lasted this long?" I realized that a celebration was called for because they, our ladies, were proud of themselves. So I called in some Roma musicians, ordered 10 kilos of baklava, 10 kilos of dolma, and wasn't at a party, and didn't everybody feel really good? I myself don't come from a business background, but I'm now the co-owner of a business that arose from the frustration of realizing that I was stuck, that I was not in fact living what I was preaching, that in my previous position there was nowhere left for me to go, or maybe I just didn't have the energy to look for where else I could go. In my new position, I was often very tired, but we had a lot of fun. We were getting some good recognition. I could see that our ladies were trying. They were allowing themselves to be vulnerable to criticism as they were embracing the opportunity to grow, to learn. And overall, I felt pretty good. But then I started to run into some glitches. The funding that we thought would come through was not in our bank account yet again. The shop who agreed to sell our items was still not selling them for reasons which we still don't understand. I was frustrated as we needed some startup capital to keep going beyond the first few months, but we also needed to sell our goods, as if we were always dependent on somebody else. That's not very sustainable, and that would rather defeat the point of what we were trying to do. But I was still feeling good as the ladies we were working with were still coming, still allowing themselves to grow, still showing how brave they were, crossing the threshold to our workshop, where for the first time, when somebody calls them on their mobile phone, they can say, "I'm at work." So despite some headaches, mostly I was still feeling pretty good. I threw common sense aside and took some of my own money and became my own backer while working on getting another sponsor. It's not like we wanted so much money, just enough for our overhead, but that was still money that we were not yet earning. I decided to sever our ties with the shop that wasn't selling our goods and had the fortune to be picked up by an even trendier shop that I had never even heard of. I was still feeling good as we were getting our endeavor over a difficult patch, and things seemed like they were looking up overall. I thought I was in the clear, and for a while we were. Sales were picking up, we were working on new items, and I was feeling more comfortable overall in my decision to leave a good-paying job with a steady paycheck, where I was paid monthly to teach others to make a difference, and had the company of people who were, if not of a similar mindset, of a similar background, and had more than a 5th grade education. Sometime after our 2nd year, a few of our ladies were talking about the bikinis that they had purchased. This was an extravagance on their part, as they were not in the habit to spend money on themselves, and if they were, it would be from our local street market, not from a shop. When I asked them, they said that yes, they went swimming every Saturday. I realized that they were doing things for themselves, that they were allowing the energy of working to carry them to a level they had not known before. And I felt very proud of them, and I felt pretty good myself. But then I found myself being a bit grumpy. I wasn't quite as comfortable in the workshop as I used to be. Something was going wrong, but I couldn't pin it down. And I realized that I was not feeling so good after all. Weeks went by. I looked up, I looked down, I looked into nooks and crannies for the negative energy that was bringing me down. I really could not understand this, as I thought I had such a strong background. And I had many years of activism under my belt. I thought I was a professional in the larger field of civil society. I'd worked on the ground with grassroots projects around Turkey. I'd given many seminars in many different countries to many different audiences. And I thought I knew everything that was needed to set up a new model for development, empowerment. So I started stepping back, spending more time on me, spending more time in my garden, eating lunch more often with my friends, doing what I could to legitimately get out of the workshop more and more. We still had orders. We had new orders. We weren't quite breaking even yet, but we were close. But there was still something going on that I couldn't pinpoint. I would do what I had to do for the business, for the workshop, and remove myself physically from the situation. The weeks turned into months. I emptied out drawers, swept away cobwebs I didn't even know were there, still looking for the answer, what is wrong? I wasn't feeling as good as when we first started, even though I could see that much was still going well. Our ladies kept coming, kept working, kept developing relationships amongst themselves. But I was determined to get to the core of what was bothering me, because I was going crazy, and I knew that I could not go on like this. One day I walked into the workshop, a little bit late as usual, because I know the boss is not supposed to get to work on time. As soon as I stepped over the threshold of our workshop, I was bombarded with ideas, with questions, with excitement. But to be honest, it was too much to deal with, and I said so. And there was silence. And right then and there, I realized what the problem was. I heard myself saying to our ladies that sometimes communication was still difficult for me, but I am one, and they are 60. Despite what I thought I was doing, focusing on others, attempting to make this endeavor as socially appropriate and acceptable as possible, I was still focusing too much on me. When I stopped to hear what our ladies were saying, by opening my eyes, by opening my ears, and seeing their dedication, it all became clear. Yes, this was my baby, my project, my creative endeavor, and I knew that this project didn't start in a vacuum, that there were so many other players involved to help to get me to this point. And I knew that we would be nothing without our ladies, and I would often tell them as much. But I didn't see this coming, because I thought I was already there. I had thought I had already made it about them. What I neglected to see is that they had made it about them, which was already the point. I realized that despite all I was trying to do, I was still focusing too much on what I wanted. This is despite my knowing it's not about me. It's about them, our ladies, the core of our efforts. We had become more than I ever dared to dream we could become, because our ladies not only rose to the opportunity presented to them, they rose above it, high above it. And once I realized this, the cobwebs cleared away, the negative tension dissipated, and I could stop searching through the nooks and crannies and the drawers that always got stuck anyhow. Once I found the problem, I started working on it, and I started feeling good again, because I accepted, I heard, I internalized, it's not about me, it's about them. And in order for this endeavor to be more about them, more about our ladies, I needed to stop set my ego aside, slow down, and really, really listen to how they need to be listened to, how they needed to be heard. I needed to look at where progress was, staring me right in the face. I'm still the boss, I still have a role, but now I can take on other tasks with much more comfort and let our ladies do, what they have become for our own little corner at the intersection where the other three corners are male endeavors with mostly male patrons. Because you see, at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about them, the people you are targeting, the aim of your work, the goal of your passion that feeds your creative endeavor. And for me, once I realized that and accepted that, not only did I start to feel good, but so did our ladies. Thank you.